That ring, Andrew said slowly. Where did you get it? It was my mum's, Maya replied. She passed away last year, said it was a promise from someone special. May I ask her name? Diana Johnson. Andrew swallowed hard. Diana. He remembered that name from the orphanage records, a nurse who'd vanished the day it closed. He offered her a ride home, asking soft questions during the drive. Have you always lived here? Since I was 3, Maya said. Before that, I was adopted from an orphanage called Little Angels. Andrew almost lost control of the wheel. You're sure? She nodded. Why? You know it. He forced a smile. A long time ago. When he dropped her off, she waved goodbye. The emerald glinted in the sun, and with it, the ghost of a promise long broken. That night, the kitchen lights flickered as Renee unfolded the truth. Your mother, Diana, worked at Little Angels. When the orphanage shut down, she found something. Files, experiments on children. She ran away with you and changed her name to keep you safe. Renee handed Maya a yellowed envelope. She told us to give you this if anyone from the Whittaker family ever came. Maya opened it with trembling hands. My dearest Maya, if you're reading this, someone has found you. You were born with a gift, a mind that understands how things fit and how to mend what's broken. The Whittakers wanted to use you for a project called Prometheus. Your ring holds a secret, the key to their crimes. Trust your instincts and never let them take what makes you whole. Love, Mom. Tears blurred the ink. Outside, thunder rolled over the dark hills. The engine started overheating, she asked. He nodded. 40 minutes ago, then it just stopped. Did it smell sweet, like syrup? He blinked. Yes, how? Coolant leak. She pointed to the puddle beneath the car. Right there. The man watched, intrigued. What's your name? Maya Johnson. I'm Andrew Whittaker. She patched the radiator hose using tape from her toolkit. This'll hold until you reach town. When she brushed her braids from her face, sunlight caught a gold ring on her finger, an emerald stone gleaming faintly. Andrew froze. His heart lurched. That ring, the small crescent-shaped flaw in the gem. He'd seen it before, 12 years ago, on the hand of a little girl from the Little Angels orphanage. At Whittaker Enterprises, Howard slammed his cane against the marble floor. What's this about you reopening old orphanage files? He demanded. Andrew met his gaze. I found one of the children, Dad. Maya Johnson. Howard's face hardened. Forget her. The past doesn't matter. Andrew's voice shook with fury. You experimented on children. You bought that orphanage to harvest their talents. Howard's smile was cold. Some children were born different, extraordinary. Why waste that potential? We use science to refine it. Imagine the patents, the military applications. Andrew backed away in horror. You turned them into property, into progress, Howard corrected softly. Agents restrained Howard as the files projected across the glass walls. Proof of human experimentation and corporate fraud. Maya removed the emerald ring and placed it on the table before Andrew. She said it was a promise, she whispered. Now it's a key. Howard was led away in handcuffs. Months later, headlines read, Whittaker Empire collapses, Project Prometheus exposed. Andrew resigned, turning state witness. His father faced life in prison. Maya went back to her workshop, fixing old radios and engines, finding comfort in the hum of creation. One spring afternoon, Andrew visited, watching her work. Still fixing things, I see, he said softly. Someone's got to, Maya smiled. He handed her a small velvet box. Inside lay the same emerald ring, cleaned and resized. It's yours, he said. A promise kept, finally. Maya slipped it on, the sunlight catching in its green depths. Guess even broken promises can be fixed. And for the first time, the world felt whole again. The conference room on the 50th floor of Whittaker Enterprises buzzed with nervous executives. Howard slammed his hand on the table. Where is my son? The doors opened. Andrew entered, calm and deliberate, beside federal prosecutor Claire Bennett. Sorry I'm late, Dad, he said. We have some questions about Project Prometheus. Howard went pale. You brought the feds into this. Andrew connected his laptop to the screen. I brought the truth. Documents appeared. Photos of frightened children, falsified adoption papers, and medical reports labeled talent exploitation. Howard snarled. You're destroying us. Andrew's gaze was cold. You did that years ago. The doors burst open again. Marcus Hayes and 2 federal agents entered, followed by Maya. Howard froze. You should have disappeared. Maya stepped forward, voice steady. My mum made sure I wouldn't. The sun burned over the lonely country road, heat shimmering off the asphalt. 10-year-old Maya Johnson trudged home from school, her backpack heavy with books and tools. Ahead, a bright red Shelby GT500 Mustang sat on the shoulder, hood up like a wounded beast. A man in a suit paced beside it, barking into his phone. "I've been here for 2 hours. I have a meeting with the governor in 3. Maya hesitated. Her Aunt Renee always warned her not to talk to strangers, especially rich ones who didn't belong on roads like theirs. But something about his desperation made her pause. "Need help, sir?" she asked. The man turned, tall, silver-haired, his irritation fading into disbelief. "That's kind of you, sweetheart, but this is a high-performance vehicle. I'll wait for a real mechanic." Maya smirked. "My uncle's a mechanic. Maybe I can take a look." Before he could protest, she dropped her bag and leaned over the engine with practiced ease. In a small workshop behind her house, Maya tinkered with an old radio, soldering wires until music crackled through. Her uncle Leon grinned. "You've got magic hands, girl." Maya smiled shyly. "Uncle, I met a rich man yesterday, Andrew Whitaker. His car broke down, and I helped him. He knew my ring." Leon stiffened. "Whitaker?" She nodded, showing him the business card. Her Aunt Renee appeared at the door, face pale. "Maya, sweetheart, do you remember when we said we'd tell you about your mother when you were older?" Maya nodded slowly. "That time has come." The next morning, a black SUV idled outside Maya's school. 2 men in suits watched her leave with friends. "That's her, the girl with the emerald ring." Before they could move, a rusty pickup truck cut across the street. Leon stepped out, phone to his ear. "Marcus Hayes, it's about little angels. I've got your proof, and the girl." Hours later, Marcus Hayes, investigative reporter, sat in the Johnsons' living room examining Diana's documents. "This ring," he murmured, scanning it with a small device, "contains an encrypted microchip. It unlocks hidden Whitaker files." "Hidden?" Maya asked. "Yes, evidence of a project your grandfather led." "My grandfather?" Marcus nodded grimly. "Howard Whitaker." The restored Mustang gleamed under the morning sun, a perfect mirror of what had been broken and rebuilt, both machine and man. Zoe ran her palm along the curve of the hood, feeling the smooth metal hum faintly beneath her fingers, as if alive again. Elias stood beside her, older in his eyes but lighter in his heart. "You know," he said softly, "I bought this car when I thought winning meant never stopping. Turns out, it took being stranded on a broken road to learn what really moves a person." Zoe smiled. "Guess even engines need a little heart to run right." A silence settled, warm and full. Elias handed her a small envelope. Inside was a photograph, her, covered in grease, grinning next to the half-fixed Mustang, and a folded document, a scholarship letter. "You're going to engineering school, Zoe. On my dime. You've earned it." Her eyes widened. "Mr. Elias, He shook his head. "You fixed more than my car. You reminded me who I was before the money, before the noise." Just then, the sound of another engine approached. His wife's black SUV pulled up. She stepped out, no longer cold, but unsure, like someone walking into light after a long storm. Behind her, the boy emerged, carrying a small box. Zoe's chest tightened. "Is that—" The boy nodded shyly. "I thought your tools should have a proper home," he said, handing her the box. Inside lay a set of pristine, engraved wrenches. Her initials shimmered on the steel. For a moment, no one spoke. The air was still except for the rustle of wind through the trees. Elias turned to Zoe, his voice quiet. "Every engine needs the right hands. Maybe I was meant to find yours." Zoe's throat ached. She wanted to say thank you, but the words felt too small. Instead, she picked up the wrench and said, "Then let's start the next one." Elias laughed, a deep, unguarded sound. "Deal!" The Mustang roared to life, the engine purring smooth and confident. They climbed in, Zoe behind the wheel, Elias beside her, and rolled down the hill toward town. Behind them, the boy and his mother watched until the car disappeared beyond the horizon, sunlight flashing off its chrome like a promise kept. In that gleam, something unspoken passed. Not wealth, not status, but hope. The kind built from hands that fix, forgive, and keep driving forward. The road ahead stretched open and endless, and for the first time in a long while, all 3 of them were free.